In 1974, Father Armand Matthew and a few other like-minded people from Brownsville understood the dire need for safe and sanitary housing. Father Matthew used to say, people are in more need of a safe place to live than they are my mass schedule. Our first mission was to replace 1,800 outhouses within the city of Brownsville. And from that, we have grown to be one of the largest producers of affordable housing in Texas, building over 8,000 homes and lending or granting over $400 million.
Ahorita es lo que más deseo, tener mi casa. Hoy pues va a ser mi propia casa y voy a poder hacer lo que yo quiera, sembrar plantas, me encantan.
I have a 9-year-old who's going to be 10 in January, so owning a home means everything to me. I feel like, once I'm a homeowner, I'll be accomplished.
The Rio Grande Valley is a great place to live. However, when you live in a place that over 30% of the population is living below the poverty line, you have many, many different issues, and the need for affordable housing is one of those. We've got people living without water and sewer, no electricity in some places, outhouses still, out in the rural areas. And it's a serious issue. It's a health issue, it's an economic issue. I mean, a family cannot build equity in a trailer that's fallen down.
But I remember 22 years ago when I first arrived in the Rio Grande Valley, I was driving through Cameron Park. And this is back when Cameron Park, which was the largest colonia in the nation at the time, and may still be today, but it was back when there was no water and there was no electricity. And I'm driving through this neighborhood and the houses are falling down and I cannot believe what I'm seeing. But like every other house, there was this pile of bricks. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I turned to my friend and I said, what's going on with the bricks? I mean, we've driven by like 5,000 houses. And he looked at me and he said, those are the bricks they're gonna put on the side of their house when they build a new one. What we are not lacking here is hope or determination. The people of this community will not stop. They will continue to pile up those bricks to put on the side of their new houses.
Desde que miraron la casa y por primera vez, no hombre, estaban felicísimos ellos, felices. Dice, mamá, ¿esta es mi casa? Sí. Ma, ¿esta es mi casa? Sí, mi amor.
The equation in affordable housing has always been rapid intake and qualification process and rapid development process and limited choice gets you affordability. The problem is that people aren't always the same. They're all different. And to offer the same thing every time doesn't hit it. We don't believe that limited choice is the only way to get affordability.
The design of your home starts by understanding your family's needs and priorities through the homework.
From there, we move on into floor plan and layout exercises. We have stickers and blocks that families can arrange and iterate floor plans.
Y me dieron bastantes oportunidades que las otras casas sí no tenían. Y por las vecinas, pues ahora, ¿por qué a ti te hacen esto y por qué a mí no? Que porque a mí me dieron la oportunidad de diseñar y de hacer en mi propia casa, como yo la quería.
The Community Loan Center came about because of our partner nonprofit mortgage companies and nonprofit housing developers were really seeing an uptick in payday lending and car title lending that was affecting buyers' ability to apply for a mortgage and be approved for a mortgage. And we knew we had to do something about it.
Texas is the most abusive state for payday and predatory lending. Very little regulation, large low-income population, a lot of assets getting stripped out of low-income communities. In Texas, it's a $6 billion a year industry with over $1.5 billion in interest and fees being taken out of the local economy. A program like the Community Loan Center helps keep that capital in the local economy and saves people about $775 per loan compared to a payday loan in Texas.
The Youth Build program offers a very comprehensive approach. We provide educational training, we provide basic construction training, we provide leadership, and contribute a lot in the community to teach our students to pay forward.
I went to Youth Build because I wanted to further my education, not just for me, but for my little girl.
It's amazing what one program and people that are dedicated to changing the life of youth can do. It goes a long, long way, and it's just incredible.
PCB has been a place where families can come, dream, and build their future. Our location on the U.S.-Mexico border, hundreds of miles from policymakers and financial networks, has allowed us to become a place of innovation. We are one of the first organizations to combine private and public funds to create an affordable mortgage product. Our Youth Build program built the first lead home south of San Antonio. We developed the first subdivision of Brownsville with sidewalks and parks. With local area banks, we created the Rio Grande Valley Multibank and the Community Loan Center, launching small dollar lending franchises across the country. We developed the Rapido disaster recovery model and creating award-winning multifamily developments. We allow people to dream for a better future, a new home, financial security, healthy foods, improved health, an education, or a job. And then we help families acquire the tools to build that dream and that future.
Communities Unlimited resides in the space of solutions. Our team of 70 full-time professionals takes a community-based, comprehensive approach to solving the challenges that threaten our community's survival and provide the resources needed to sustain healthy businesses, healthy communities, and healthy families. We're unwinding generations of inequity and disinvestment in the South by uplifting and partnering with people, businesses, and communities for today and tomorrow. In 2020 alone, we served over 400,000 people, 220 businesses, and 606 communities. We provide management consulting, technical assistance, training, and capital to the people who hold the keys to their community's prosperity. We work side by side with leaders and entrepreneurs to secure and strengthen the basics that all healthy communities need: clean and safe drinking water and healthy foods, as well as appropriate wastewater disposal. CU provides the know-how and capital to start and grow locally owned businesses that provide good jobs, improve quality of life, and build more resilient local economies.
Winter Storm Uri had much of the country experiencing sub-freezing temperatures, causing damage to many water and wastewater systems, including Spring Creek Water Supply Corporation, a very small water system in Texas that was unable to provide water to customers' homes for 7 days. CU CDFI was able to approve and fund an emergency loan for well repairs the same day the well contractor arrived, 2 weeks ahead of schedule, to make repairs and restore water to the customers' homes.
Since we've partnered with Communities Unlimited, we are getting grants to fix our sewer levee systems, to do a sewer expansion. We're getting a new police car, and also we're getting new laptop computers and desktop computers for our office, because what we have now is outdated and we really need to upgrade to keep going forward with growing our city.
An hour to Houston's north is Patton Village, Texas, a community of approximately 1,400 people. For many years, Communities Unlimited has been working with the city, providing loans and technical assistance to construct a sewer system to replace the individual homes' failing septic systems with a public sewer system.
Hello and welcome to the beautiful city of Patton Village. Today is April 3rd, 2017, and I am Leah Tarrant, the mayor. And today we have kicked off the wastewater treatment plant, and we're also connecting our first homes today. So this is a first-time city sewer, and we are so proud of this plant, this system, and this city.
CU's Healthy Foods program is working in the Mid-South Delta region to create new opportunities for small-scale farmers and address food deserts and access to fresh produce in low-income areas. Many of the families living in Sardis, Mississippi do not have access to grocery stores. Communities Unlimited assisted Sardis in starting a farmers market to provide residents with access to fresh produce and local farmers with a place to sell their produce.
Security is a real big problem that our community has struggled with for a long time. Communities Unlimited was able to help us to identify resources available so that food can be brought in through the USDA Farmers to Family Food Box program. Through this program, they were able to to provide over 3,000 boxes of food at no cost to our citizens here. And they were so grateful to have that, just that bit of help.
Population's around 830. We're serving 210 families, 210 people out of all that. That's a fourth of the population of the city, of the smaller community that we're in, and that just shows the disparaging problems that we have as far as food and hungry people.
Dr. Mary Williams, a nurse practitioner, opened urgent and primary care of Clarksdale in Clarksdale, Mississippi, a small town in the Mississippi River Delta. Dr. Williams wanted to give back to her hometown. She received a small business loan from Communities Unlimited and worked with a management consultant to put her business on the path to success.
The only resource I had to start my business honestly was a loan from Communities Unlimited. Otherwise, I had my own. I financed it myself, not because I planned it that way. It's just because it worked out that way, and I'm thankful that Deborah showed up when she did, because it was right at a point I needed to meet payroll, and I was thinking, I was having second thoughts. Did I do this? The loan that I thought I was gonna get from the bank did not work out, and I was just at a point where I'm up against a wall, and Deborah said, "Hey, Mary, we have this available." I was, yes.
For more than 40 years, RCAC's passionate staff and dedicated board have served Indigenous and rural communities across the rural West. Our work increases access to affordable housing and safe drinking water, promotes economic opportunity and job creation, and provides financing for community and economic development projects. Headquartered in West Sacramento, California, we have over 160 employees working across our service area in more than 40 field offices. Our services are available to communities with populations of fewer than 50,000, other nonprofit groups, Indigenous communities, farm workers, and colonials.
Water and wastewater infrastructure are both critical components to ensure healthy rural communities. According to a national research study conducted by the U.S. Geological Survey, more than 43 million people in the United States rely on private water wells as their sole drinking water source. The study also found that more than 1 out of every 5 wells contained 1 or more contaminants at concentrations exceeding safe drinking water standards. Many well owners oftentimes do not know how to properly maintain or check their well systems to ensure that the safety of their drinking water. Many of the harmful contaminants also happen to be colorless, odorless, and tasteless, meaning they're pretty much undetectable unless properly sampled by an accredited lab. RCAC provides well assessments and training to private well and septic system owners on proper operation and maintenance and common troubleshooting techniques to help them monitor and sustain their well and septic systems. Well assessments are available in specific regions throughout California, Idaho, Nevada, New Mexico, Oregon, and Washington. Private well owners were especially impacted during California's most recent drought as well. RCAC helped these homeowners through the California Household Small Water System Drought Assistance Program. The work began when RCAC received a $1 million grant from the California State Water Resources Control Board. RCAC's lending and environmental programs staff then began to work together to fund relief for homeowners who had been dealing with dry wells for months and in some cases even years. The program provides loans or grant funds to drill new, deeper wells. Household income determines whether funds are loaned or granted. This program enabled RCAC to provide more funding per household than previous programs, which was critically important during the drought years as wells were drying up at astonishing rates across the state and the cost to drill new wells skyrocketed. Loan fund staff worked with our environmental team to conduct assessments and process loans for those homeowners whose wells ran dry. Environmental staff helped develop action plans for those with dry wells and educated homeowners about how to operate their well, conduct water quality sampling, the health risks associated with some contaminants, and other water treatment options.
RCAC's work with affordable housing programs dates back to its inception. One of our first contracts was with USDA Section 523 Mutual Self-Help Housing Program. For more than 55 years, this unique model has helped thousands of low-income rural families achieve their homeownership dreams. Self-help borrowers work together in groups under the guidance of a self-help grantee to build their own and their neighbors' homes. With a construction supervisor on site, these building groups perform at least 65% of the construction work required to build their homes. This sweat equity operates in lieu of a down payment and in conjunction with affordable mortgages also under USDA programs. RCAC staff provides technical assistance to the local grantee, which in most cases manages the construction loans, develops the building site, provides homeownership training, offers building plans, qualifies the borrower for his or her mortgage, and markets the program in the service area. Over the years, local organizations have implemented the program in ways that meets their region's needs. In Utah, one group uses straw bale construction. In Alaska, energy efficiency is key. Throughout the process, families celebrate milestones, from the groundbreaking to wall raising and key ceremonies, all culminating in safe, decent housing. Currently, RCAC provides technical assistance to 46 active program grantees. We have a long history of helping rural communities achieve their goals, and we are proud to serve persistent poverty communities as a Partners for Rural Transformation member.
Hope works in a region that is the epicenter of America's struggle with civil rights. That history has permeated the conditions that people experience today. The core of our region is the Mississippi Delta, a region that is home to 1/3 of the counties in the United States that have had over 20% poverty for 3 decades in a row. And so we take a much more comprehensive approach to our work. Places like the Delta, the Deep South, the ability of somebody to climb the economic ladder depends on the opportunities that exist. Almost 40% of the people who are members of Hope Credit Union didn't have a banking account before they joined the credit union. Another 20% were relying on payday lenders and check cashers and subprime lenders. The reason that most people are unbanked is because they don't trust banks. We've tried to change that by having a more intentional relationship with our communities and with our members, asking them what their needs are, and being problem solvers.
I've been with Hope for some years, ever since they came to Moorhead. Now I'm more conscious of what I do, how I spend, and how to invest, and saving. There's always somebody available.
Hope came into Moorhead, asking us, what can we do to help you? I always tell people it brought hope to an otherwise hopeless community.
With credit unions, the profits and revenues are reinvested in these communities. We're working with elected leadership to identify what would help move the needle. The first place that he showed me was a neighborhood called Eastmore.
Before Hope came in, some would say it's not a livable condition due to wiring. My home burned and we lost everything. I couldn't get on my feet. I went to check cashing places, I went to title loan places, and I found myself sinking in debt, and it resulted in me filing bankruptcy.
It's critical that families have the tools to support their children, their loved ones, to contribute as a viable member of American society. Without access to basic financial services, they can't do that.
Honey, I'm home. Next year, I will be completely done with bankruptcy. That's when I plan to walk into Hope Credit Union and do my paperwork and smile and shake hands, and I can't wait. We will start over and begin to have a chance at life. And I'm ready for it.
The one way that you bring services and the necessary infrastructure it takes to create a real community is with community development corporations. We're a financial services nonprofit that serves all of Appalachia by partnering with community development corporations. Really, everything imaginable, I think, is being done by CDCs across the region. Adult daycare, supportive services to the elderly, building houses, shelters, water projects, sewer projects, downtown revitalization. Take childcare, for instance, right here in Hazard. We've helped develop a couple of childcare centers with the local CDC here. Folks are actually using a great amount of their income for utilities, housing, and then childcare is almost impossible at that point.
Good morning, guys. Hi, Joe. How's everybody this morning?
I'm a working granny. I dropped my little 6-year-old granddaughter off here at the daycare. It's just $5 a day for her. It helps me while I work. I probably couldn't work where I keep her all the time.
A different kind of problem a lot of our communities face is access to affordable health care. And a lot of places there is no local medical facility.
They're just falling out. They're just like cracking out.
It means a lot of times people go untreated.
When this building was redone, used to be a beauty shop and a pool place in the bottom. And through FAHI, through the USDA, we got the loan and was able to renovate this whole building. We got a grant to open up our own rural health clinic. We started out with 90% uninsured patients that had no way to get health coverage. Everybody was turning them away. They had nowhere to go. This shows them that they matter just as much as anybody else.
It just hurts, you know, where I have to lie down because, I mean, I can't hardly eat nothing.
Dental has been a big component. A couple of years ago, we did one in Virginia. There was no dentist in the county. An awful lot of the problems that we see are a lot about how you bring services to where people are rather than making people go to where the services are.
It is a big deal. It's a huge deal because we're all one paycheck away from needing the services we provide.
I've seen a lot of money thrown at a lot of problems over a quarter of a century now in Appalachia. And one of the things that's really true about all community development, but more true here, is that you've got to work with local leaders.
We are hoping to start Sydney Morgan's house very soon.
So we don't have to ask for a waiver.
Correct.
No intermediary, no state office, no federal government program is enough by itself. If you don't have that leader, then the resources themselves just kind of fall flat.
We are a nonprofit housing provider, and that means we try to help folks with their housing issues. We serve 4 counties, and they're kind of in the heart of the coal fields of eastern Kentucky. One of the things that I think we're really good at is figuring out all the possible sources of money and kind of putting those together. So somebody comes in and we get basically their situation, you know, what their income is, how much they can afford, if anything, what repairs they need, and then we try to plug them into a program that works. And we also build houses for folks who can't afford to go through a traditional mortgage. Also, it's really a big economic benefit to the whole community. When you build or repair housing, you're employing people, you're buying materials locally, you're hiring subcontractors, and all that really kind of fits together to help solve the problem.
I think there's a lot of images that people think about when they hear about a region like Appalachia and the coal mining industry, and timber has been another one. And it's the manner in which this has gotten done. Very little value has been added to the natural resource before it leaves our region. So it's extracted and taken out with a minimal amount of investment that it takes to make that happen. And what it really gets down to is the lack of private investment that would normally happen in a community does not happen here.
All the CDCs have long waiting lists. The program's already there. We just need a little more money so we can do more.
What we need is more gas in the car. I mean, like, capital is the fuel. That's really the role that we are trying to play here, is making investment happen again in Appalachia.
My hopes for the region is that people who want to live here in a small community and this beautiful place and raise a family here can have the kind of economic opportunities that they have elsewhere in America.
We formed the Partners for Rural Transformation on the understanding that we each work in regions with populations experiencing persistent poverty. From supporting local leaders, building delivery for investment, addressing facilities, housing, consumer credit, and small businesses, our solutions are similar and strengthened through our collective voice. By working together and with partners like you, we can build the American dream.
The Owista Corporation was created 20 years ago to address a lack of capital for Indian country. In looking at a lot of these sovereign nations within the United States, we have 573 federally recognized tribes. A majority of those communities and tribal communities are in very remote and rural locations. So when we look at building up our community wealth, building up our individual wealth, and building up infrastructures that help with healthy economies, which could be homeownership, which could be entrepreneurism, we weren't seeing the amount of capital, if any, really coming into our communities in this juncture. So Owista was created essentially 20 years ago to be a capital arm for Indian country and act as an intermediary to start facilitating generational wealth creation, the access to capital for consumer, home owners, and business type endeavors, and really act as an arm for development. I think financial education is essentially imperative because it provides individuals the tools and resources that they need to take control of their financial lives and to take control of their financial futures. And specifically looking at Native communities and being able to transform that into a cultural context. Incredibly important that we recognize our culture's values and we understand how to use money to our benefit.
Hi everybody, my name is Linnell Smith and I also work with Tani out at Owista. I'm actually full-blooded Navajo, born and raised on the res here, my family grew up here, my three girls. So it's wonderful to be back here and get to share some information with you guys, so we're super excited.
Yeah, so we work with First Nations Owista Corporation. What we do is we actually work with big foundations and banks, if you will, to infuse capital into Indian country. So we work with all 573 tribes across the country. And right now we are developing a Building Native Communities financial education curriculum for you guys, for the youth. And so Linnell and I travel across the country. We do a lot of trainings, we do a lot of technical assistance and try to strengthen Indian country to be better. Okay.
My grandfather, my Unchi and Lala, both, they had put so much sacrifices into building a Sioux 400 on the reservation with blood, sweat, tears. And seeing as my mother had adapted to that skill set, she as well thought maybe moving here would be good. And I'm one of the first generations to move out on the reservation as well, which is very uncommon in most central city parts like this. And seeing my mom go to college, raising children, and then having to buy her own home with my father, it really helped me realize, I could do it too. My ancestors have done it, my parents, my grandparents, everyone I know has done it, and I want to be one of the generation that also keeps it going.
What's been wonderful to see as Native CDFIs have over time really worked with their borrowers to build financial capabilities, to help people build their credit scores, set aside savings. We're now seeing growth and demand for homeownership products in Native communities, especially those that are served by Native CDFIs. And so what we're seeing is that there are not enough lenders that are serving reservation and tribal trust land communities. And so Native CDFIs are really going to be the missing piece in how that is done. What's happened here at OWISTA as we have really been trying to think about how to build the capacity of those Native CDFIs that were already doing consumer lending or small business lending that want to diversify and provide homeownership products.
Looking out at the next 10 years and what we really envision, we would love to be able to be a bridge to bring in over $100 million of capital to Indian country, help build strong, self-sufficient organizations, and essentially be able to expand our products, services that really articulate the advanced and sophisticated needs within Indian country, be able to grow with these organizations and really see a visualization of capitalization coming to our Native communities as the rest of America enjoys.